Okay, listen. I can hear motorbikes and I think I'm too late to film them. Probably 5 have gone past. I know where I can see them. I knew there was something about this. Brian was here a few days ago. He was on his way on the road because of some Royal Enfields. What's the chance of there being one more? Royal Enfields. Please don't get bored with this video because the Lord gave me a word and I'm going to show, I might as well just show you and upload this, okay? They're Russian. Okay, so it's always my testimony. A Royal Enfield. It has something to do with the Usiles. Recently I found out what Usiles means. The definition of Usiles. You can look it up. It's a bike club for old people. Marty and I chose never to join it. Okay, so down there by the ocean is a junction. That's where he went, but he missed them. He said, I missed the Royal Enfields because the Usiles guy rang me up and held me up, and by the time I got there they'd gone, and he decided to come up here. Glory's needed a groom, and I started working on her, and it went all day. I think he arrived just after 10, and it was 4:30 before he could leave, and towards the end he was saying, if I go back down there I'll see the Royal Enfields. But it was urgent we got into Glory's feet between her toes because it was really matted, okay, really matted. And she was struggling and fighting, and Brian's leg had bled. Our hand had bled. Now, the testimony of the Royal Enfields is, there's a gangly guy, I'll try and remember his name, really entertaining, a Brit. Now, is it him or is it the other young actor from Britain who gets on a motorbike? It's the other young actor from Britain. Has a documentary, goes for a while, goes over all the land of Russia, the Cold War land, like it's probably one of the best ways to see the landscape, follow that documentary, because they're taking all those roads. I know the history of the Enfield, and I know this is probably rough, but I don't even have to study it, because I studied it back then, and I studied it again when Jonathan Clegg had the Lord get him to buy a Royal Enfield. So we're full circle, Jonathan, we're full circle my testimony with Marty, and we're going back 2 days because I just heard sounds. I came out here and I saw 4 or 5 bikes go over that bridge. They had a different sound. They were the Royal Enfields that are riding around the west coast. So I'm not going to run and tell Brian, but he must seeing them that day. But for some reason I needed to know that they were riding around, otherwise I wouldn't have taken this video. It's not some reason, it's always the Lord. So please stay tuned. I am going to show you the word the Lord gave me this morning, and I'm not going to be able to complete what the Lord is showing me. Have you heard of hold, and dig, dig fast? Well, I have, and for the last year and now 2 months have I been hearing it. His ways are not our ways, okay? I'm back on the truther detective. I'm getting my intel from the Lord. It's straight from the Lord. The background for this is, I think these machines, these Enfields, they're used a lot in India. If you go to India, that's all they ride. They're made in Britain. They're like a Russian tank. That would be how that man describes them, like a Russian tank. The man in the doco and anyone else who's been on them, and they tour. And the thing went through so much, it wasn't funny. A little bit like Top Gear. And it stopped and it got fixed, and everyone had parts. They all have parts for it. Every back shop mechanic. Right, I don't need to say much more. That's the connection. And now I'm back up on this is my viewing platform. It was been a mess, and I haven't been here once, hardly this year. But the Lord's had me clean it up. I've just finished cleaning it up. I've put that in front of the hole into the beautiful room, which is here. And it's all coming back to me how it was Loki who meddled and stopped me doing that. What happened on 17th of July? The nice guy, the gold miner who cracked, right? At the same time as I saw the lost dog with the brown eyes and Loki, the variant. They're trying to meddle with time. There's 2 things the Lord has reminded me that he showed me in the communist invasion dream. Because he has given me a heads up. If I start loading, this is not going to be your regular war propaganda. Because I know we're all sick of it. This is the Holy Spirit. Don't go after it, yellow. So this is the Holy Spirit. The beautiful room is where we go. I've just mowed the lawns last night, almost at dark. I mowed those. That's how fresh this is. This is where the Lord has me. Everything I do is prophetic. Every job I do. This all stayed firm for one winter. I am confident to build. That is the door behind there, and the polystyrene insulation that's going here. But I'm going to work in there and line it, and it's perfect because it gives me room now, because the door's leaning there, to approach that wall, to finish that wall correctly, so that then I just have to come out into this room. May only get that done this winter, and I'll be out here again just on autumn, early autumn. That's the plan. So here we are. Okay. You might think that's not important, but it is. So now, I'm slowly walking because I don't want to get this wrong. I'm doing some patch for the grass, patch seed. I'm waiting for rain. There goes Tribute Mark 2. If you want to know about her, the Lord had me give or sell tribute. The lady was called Ruby. She swore that she would not change her name from Tribute. And then when I went to deliver some pups in Christchurch, she had changed the name to Molly. She'd fallen to other people's pressure. She knew the family at evil as. So I woke up the next morning and the Lord gave me permission to keep this one, which is the one that's been labelled unhealthy in a health check, which I kept. It's Glory Yellow's puppy. Her name now is not Ruby, and I saved her from a breeder. Her name is Tribute, like Tribute Mark 2. The Lord woke me in the morning and said, now you can call her Tribute. So I've got Tribute back. Here we go. I'll take it outside because it's nice. It must be the 29th, is it? It's 29th here. February. So I will try and find the picture of this leg. I know exactly what it looks like. So I'm looking at a leg like a puppy. And I'm saying they have to be different. I suppose it's a question mark. That's me. And when I wake, this is where I question whether it's the Lord or me. I say, same leg, same dog. Well, really, it's like same dog, same leg, but I wrote it that way. And then when I was writing this, here, when I was writing this, and I wrote my note, the Lord added this. He added this bit. So I'm awake now writing. He said, don't forget Crimea. Now I have a very clear picture of this vision, or waking word, dream. That's what it is. It's the Lord speaking when I first wake. Of the dog leg, I can find a picture. So I'm thinking about that, and at the same time I've already thought, I'm back being a truther and a detective. But I'm different, guys. I am different. We are different. Peculiar. Fly. I'm thinking, don't bring a wrong assumption interpretation. I'm thinking that, and then I hear the motorbikes. There's nothing else in my book. And then I hear the motorbikes. The Royal Enfields. like Russian tanks. They kept going and going, and they made this trip. It's the most arduous motorbike route than this guy could ever have imagined. I could link it, but it's not that. It's what the Lord is saying. So, I'm going to leave it there. The Lord's going to give me the answers. Now, it has to be a heads up because I've learned enough to know that. So, earlier when I was up here, I said about the communist invasion dream. Well, that was on the 6th of the 1st, 2020. So it's over 2 years ago. And what came with that were two images. One was because of the phone call, which I can link to this. It's taken me back to another video from back then. There was a phone call. A man said, how do I get to the front? Checkpoint Charlie. So I know about Checkpoint Charlie. How do I get to the front? So I went full circle and had a wee look at that. The thing is, there was one part I didn't understand or know, and I do now, and the Lord wants me to know. There's a plumber who tried to get through the checkpoint, and he was in no man's land, and they shot him on the Russian side, and there were even regular commuters on, it's Berlin, right? There were regular people on what you'd call the west side. This is a Cold War. Just sort of walking the streets who were witnessing this man dying over a period of an hour. And eventually, once his cries had stopped, he was carried away, and it caused action groups. And the honking of horns they did a couple of years later to remember it. And that was a threat, the last real threat. That's what it said of World War III. All over Checkpoint Charlie. And then there's Tenanum and whatever, let's say Square. I don't want to say it because the Chinese don't like it. It's the forgotten tank man. Okay, you know the forgotten tank man, the image that the West produced. So once again, it's a media-run war propaganda that nearly starts wars. So it was to do with, I believe, Taiwan, and a man with a shopping bags in his hands trying to stop a tank. The tank swerves to the side, and then I think in the images it goes right over him. And there is a plaque. And the Lord showed me. So, back when I did the communist invasion dream, he showed me two things. One, Checkpoint Charlie and that little Berlin spot World War III threat. And this tank man image. But it was brass. It was under a bridge. And there's a man holding a flower like a hippie in front of a tank. And that's what those two images are. Iconic. But think about them. I don't want to interpret, but think about it. It's the media. It's how it works. And it's to do with World War III. So how are you going to get through all this? It's a minefield. And do you even care? Well, God cares. Jesus cares. He's telling me, here I am at the ends of the earth, and he's telling me. So he does care. And they come to these shores here. They are everywhere. I saw them here. Oh yeah, who cares? You saw them here in New Zealand. Who cares? It's the ends of the earth, isn't it? Means a lot. They still call us insignificant, but this is significant, what's happening. What's going to happen in this communist invasion here in New Zealand, and I know what will happen. Not the details, but I know. And I found out in 2018. That was when the Lord first talked to me about it in the glory hut over there. Communism. I don't watch the news. I never watch the news. So please don't forget the word that I just showed you written on that piece of paper. Don't forget it. Find the timestamp, go back to it. Pray about it. So far I've never had anyone been able to give me, look, I don't know how the Lord's going to show us, but He's going to show us the truth. What's behind it all. Just like when you look back in history, you think of the 6-Day War. I will just quickly say this before I sum up. But He showed me the Tank Man. He showed me the Checkpoint Charlie. He's now talking about 4 legs of a dog. It's the left leg. Why am I looking at this dog leg thinking they have to be different? Because they're not usually, are they? And don't forget Crimea. There's that. And then I'm just trying to summarise. And there's this Royal Enfeild motorbikes. It easily saw 4 go past. Royal Enfeild. Russian terrain. As sturdy as a tank, they say, a Russian tank. Now, I'm summarising, and I've forgotten the most important thing. I've mentioned 2. The last one was, I've mentioned 3 things. Tank Man, Checkpoint Charlie, Four legs on a dog. They have to be different with a knot. Royal Enfeild goes like a Russian tank, whatever. It's like old technology. That's why the Indians have them, because they can just fix them in anywhere you go in India, they will be able to fix one of those. They have parts everywhere. That's what I know about the mechanics of. Jonathan Click brought it as a word, victory. The word was victory. That's the name of the bike, Royal Enfeild, and on it says victory, okay? So it links to Jonathan. Guys brought it to my attention because they're riding around the west coast. Brian told me, parked there before they left. He missed them twice 2 days ago because we were busy with glory. Now they're going to cross that bridge. Aha! Last thing. Israel's 6-Day War. The miraculous signs. 1967, the year I was born. I saw a t-shirt on Facebook. I bought the one when I was 50, which was the year I came here. It's a t-shirt that's got your date of birth on it, right? Mine was just red singlet. Well, this one they were advertising. I've seen 2, but this one caught my eye. It's the timing. Had it New York on it. Yeah, it did. Liberty and the Empire. So triptych, 3 pictures, and it had 1967. Took me full circle. 6-Day War. the miraculous against Egypt, Russia joined. Look at the history, Israel's history of it. Easy to find. Don't go to Wiki, but go to Wiki. You'll be confused. They're lying about bits, adding. Don't mention the Lord God once. It's a miraculous war, right? The victory. 6 days. But it was won almost in the first day. Oops. It was won almost in the first day. And it was because of the radio. They'd changed the codes, and the only nation that could give them a heads up hadn't got the new code on day one. So that was the airstrike. And we know the media's turning around and saying that whoever has the air has the war, like the superiority in the air. And the media news at the moment is that Russia doesn't. So that's the first day. So it's a surprise. It's a preemptive attack. I'm going to say that. They were already surrounded. They were in fear. And that's what Wiki puts a question mark on. But it's a fact. They were going to go down. Israel was going to go down. They all but lost all hope. They were despondent. But then they won the air. The battle in the air. So it was day one. But what the Lord's really speaking to me about now is how it's flipped. Who is God with? They always think God is with them, no matter what side they're on. God's with us. I looked at Raj, and it's like you can listen to people's thoughts in the enemy camp, and they're all, glory be with us, God be with us. God save us all, basically. God save us all. Inglorious, what's that? Inglorious, that movie? Anyway, I don't want to get distracted. The last day, the enemy confused, they scatter. The Lord shines a light like a pillar to show them a way to walk out, Israel. They see a light. It's all about, the reference is Exodus. Okay, the fire by night, the pillar, the light. They're referencing the Old Testament in their story. You will see it, and it plays out. It actually plays out. It's a miraculous event. God is with them. I know that. He was. We know that. But on the last day, they list, especially in Wiki, what they were taken. What was left behind? The booty. You know, they leave stuff behind when they run in Scarpa. The enemy was brought to confusion. We know that story. What they left behind is listed. Now think this way. This is what the Lord has shown me. They flipped it. They've done the switcheroo. So here we are now. Let's look at the series that Chana has listed of wars that us, or it looks like Lisa when it's written USA. If you join the U, it does. It looks like Lisa. That place has been involved in and invaded. There's a list. Well, one of them's Afghan is, I know about that place because I taught some Afghani refugees, one in particular. The Lord showed me last year when I was holding. He's been used here in New Zealand as for the media for propaganda so that they can take the refugees. Well, I'm sure that the doors will be open for Ukraine, whatever. The doors will be open. The Lord showed me they'll be closed, dead closed here for the USA. And I've wept over that one. They will be shut. Everyone shuts the door on them. Now I was going back to the 6-Day War in Israel. Think of that last part where they're listing what Israel got when the enemy scattered. Enough to equip 5 battalions of equipment. Well, what did the USA leave? We could say, oh, that was bidden. But it's bam, bam. Bam, bam. Bam, bam. I just found out, bam, bam. Yes, it's a cartoon, The Flintstones, but they actually did a movie. A kids' movie in 1994, the year I saved. I just screenshot that picture before I went to bed. His arms are up and it's Bam Bam is coming home. It's that scene. Bam Bam is coming home. The question is, where is home and why did they leave the weapons when Bam Bam is in charge?